Hello, everyone. Today's topic, I'm not even sure. This will be just a random. We'll see. You know what? We'll just play it by ear. We'll bring up some questions in the chat, and then maybe we'll do. Why don't we try doing some research on YouTube and doing like a reaction video? What do you think? But first, I want to say hi to some people, and then maybe take some questions and then go from there. I don't know. We're just spontaneous today. We'll see what happens. Hey, Luna. Hello again. Let's just have the chat show. Let's just have the chat show. It's a chat show. How you doing, Candy Clouds? Hey, Sarah Elves. Good to see you. Hi, Crystal. Good to see everybody. Today was a really, really good group session on Zoom. Today for some reason was a lot of wins, right? And that's really, I love it. Like I said, yeah, share your wins and everything, but today there was a lot of people sharing their wins. There was Rochelle was talking about how she went and got some tests done to see where she's at with the doctor, and all her labs are perfect, are amazing. She's been working with me for 2 years. 2 years. And I'm like, I can't wait to do a success story with you. I'm like, we should almost do one at 80% and then another one at, when you're fully recovered, right? All her liver, everything balanced out nicely. Some other people are catching some old behavior patterns. Some people were reflecting, where they are now to where they were like 6 months ago. And their mindset, the way they were dealing with the way they were in that gerbil wheel of investigating, freaking out, catastrophizing, having a different reality, beliefs on their journey that they're a special case. I think Carrie mentioned it, and Nicole mentioned it also, that right they're at a place now where, okay, I see it, I'm aware. And a year ago, I was like this. I was freaking out. I was totally lost. And I was consumed by the alarms and my reality, right? Google, Facebook groups, right? You're caught up in this different reality. Now, sure, we still have our freakouts here and there, but we have more of an order, more of a path, right? We're going to get there. We're going to fully recover. All of you, the lot of you, as long as you're doing the work, every day showing up, right, and understanding that it's going to be a challenge every day, accepting it, and a new challenge, right? And like I mentioned today, somebody was like, I'm having a lot less food sensitivity problems. I'm like, that's amazing, but right, the thing that she said that worked for her was me telling her that her food sensitivity problems weren't a big deal. Right? I'm like, that's nothing, right? And some of you be like, how could you say that, right? But the thing is, there is a range, depending on whatever symptom you have, right? Usually the people that are in this, or in this group right now on my channel, we're the freaks. We are the unicorns, freak shows, right? When we have a symptom, it's usually to the extreme, right? It's a point where you're looking down the toilet and you're like, shit, I should go to the hospital. It's to the point where we don't have just one pain. We don't have back pain only, right? We're dealing with 75, 100 symptoms at once, right? We are the freak shows. So then when she mentioned, I think a couple of weeks ago, I don't remember the last time, she mentioned that I don't do this and I'm fearing this because if I do this and I will react. I always ask, I'm like, what are your symptoms? What are your reactions? And how severe are they? Right? So we try to find where are you at, right? Are you in the extreme side of things? Okay, if you are, different protocol. Right? This is what you have to do. Okay, I understand. For me, I had to stay away from all foods and just eat 2.5 foods-ish for a year and a half. That's how severe I was. So the path is a little different. It's a little slower. Okay, all right. But somebody else, this is why I have to ask them. I'm like, so what are you dealing with? Okay, what stopped you about that symptom that you couldn't continue? Well, I didn't like it. It didn't feel good. I'm like, okay, but that's not dangerous. No. So you had anxiety, you had, right, you had some skin issues, you had, right. That's not scary. It's scary, but it's not dangerous enough for us to pull back too much. So keep going. You know what? And I even said, it's not that you're not that bad. You're not really. I downplayed it. I downplayed her fucking her sensitivities, right? And she liked it. And she needed that. I put her in the scale, the range. I'm like, you're here, right? Here's like, you're you know what? You're kind of underneath that. You're right. And that actually helped her put some perspective, because when you're in your own reality constantly, you don't have anything to gauge off of. So you can get sucked into those alarms, right? I just want to make sure everybody can hear me. Check 1, check 2. Is your camera mic on, or can you guys hear me? Because sometimes this doesn't turn on and sometimes there's problems. Here we go. Do you guys hear me? It's probably not very good, but watch this. Check 1, check 2. Okay, hold on. Before I continue, I want to make sure. Oh, maybe I'm not even live anymore. Sometimes, like, the internet's been crazy, right? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? The song. Well, it's not Christmas yet, but hey, Helmet, perfect. Does that mean you can hear? Oh yes, it's better. Okay, it's better now. But were you able to hear me before? Just wondering if it was total silence. If it's total, then I got to repeat everything, and I don't know what the hell. I don't remember what I said. Nicole, right? I was mentioning how some of us had to reflect where we were, right, and how far we've come, and we're kind of viewing life in a different lens than before. Yes. Okay. Okay, so a lot of wins today. A lot of wins. Okay, but far better. Love it. Loving it. You know what was happening? It was getting the microphone from my camera and not this bad boy. This bad boy. Okay, so what was I talking about? A lot of wins today. Lots of them. And, you know, people's like shit's shifting. Right? Say that 3 times fast. Shit shifting. No, that's pretty easy. So I forgot what I was talking about, but I was just saying today was a lot of good wins. People are, you know, I've been working with some people. Some of them have been working with me for 2 years, almost 2 years. And some of them I already see, you know, one more year, just one more year. You could actually go live life now. But there's others, right? I'm like, one more year, you're fully recovered. You're already there. There's like already 5 of them that I can see that's, you know, they're right. Success story. And I have some success stories that'll never happen. And the reason is not because they won't recover, because isn't this a good problem to have? Listen to this. I have some people that are my clients that are on they get special disabilities, right? And it took a long, many years for them to get approved, right? So they finally get approved, right? They get a backlog of money. They needed it. They were sick, right? They needed this money to pay off all these fucking bills, a lot of stress, right? But now the problem is they're getting better. They're able to use the washroom normally. They're able to get out in life. All their lab results are getting back to normal. It's like, shit. Like I can't do a success story with you yet because I'm still dependent on this money that I still need for now. But eventually, I'm gonna get off the disability,
right? How often does that happen when you go to the doctor? I'd like to get off a disability. I'm no longer sick. They'll be like, wait a minute, what do you mean? Were you faking the whole time? No, you did the test. It showed you saw all the markers. You saw my lab results. My liver numbers were fucked up. My hormones were all fucked. I had Hashimoto's. Now I don't. I have, right? I had food sensitivities. You did the tests. Yeah, we have everything here. Oh, let's do the tests again. Yeah, for sure. We'll do the tests again. And then they do the tests. Okay, that's strange. What are you doing? Did you change your diet? Well, a little bit. Okay, that's amazing. That's amazing, right? You almost have to play their game. You almost have to go. That's what it was. You got it. You caught it. Yeah, I took out junk food. I took out junk food. I've been eating more vegetables. I never ate vegetables in my life. Well, that's vegetables are important. That's why my everything's going back into balance. That's keep eating your vegetables. Keep doing what you're doing. Yep, I'll take you off the disability list. And you sure you want to do it? Because it's hard to get back in. I feel great, sir. Doctor, I feel great. So I'm dealing with some clients, right? And they're forced with this hard decision because here's the thing. Even if they're feeling good, they're fearing right now. And I get it. You need to wait. You need to almost wait a year. I had the same fear, right? I wasn't on disability. I had ulcerative colitis. I had a specialist that I had to hold on to. The specialist is your lifeline, right? Right? They tell you, yeah, we'll put you on this. The medicine becomes your right. You can live life normal with the ulcerative colitis medicine. Then there came a point. There came a point where I was like, do I let this go? Do I tell him I'm good? Right? And when I told him, he wasn't interested. He didn't care. He was, he's busy looking at stuff on, I don't know. He was looking at my file. I said, why don't we wait 6 months just in case if something happens, then you're there. He's like, how much? That's probably a good idea. Why don't we keep you on for 6 months, maybe even a year, and we can always take you off. I'm like, okay, let's do that. But I was scared, even though I was confident, right? But I was like, but what if this mind-body thing? Yeah, everything's back to normal. Yeah, but what if there is a liger around that corner that's hiding really good? What if I'm just in remission? Remission means it will come back again. What if there's, right? So you need to have time under your belt that builds the confidence so that you can make the call and go, I never want to see you again in my life. I hope, fuck it. There's no hope. I know I'll never see you again. I know. I have so much confidence because I know how to allow. I know how to bring my survival state down, right? I know how to empty my allostatic load 1,000%, right? So I have all the confidence in the world. I just went through 3 years of fucking hell and I learned some shit. The secrets, some crazy secrets that nobody knows. Well, a couple people here and there, right? The mind body people do. But that's only 0.013% of the fucking planet. The rest of the planet are under a trance, right? That's sad. But I found the way out. This is freeing. And I really stand with it with 100% cocky confidence. I'm ready. So there's going to be a point where they're going to have to be ready and go, fuck it. Let's do a success story. I'm off a disability. Let's do it. I'm free. Free. Like in front of the Titanic, right? Right? That's them. That'll be them. But I understand having a period just in case. Knock on wood. Knock on wood. Just in case. You never know. You never know. Right? But eventually you'll get to the point where you're like, bring it on, buddy. There's nothing you can do. There's nothing. There's nothing on this reality that'll reverse that. And it can't. It's impossible. It's impossible, right? It's like I can't compare. I can't find any words to describe how impossible it is. That's how impossible it is. That's probably a good example of how impossible. right? It's so impossible that you can do it with confidence and you can be cocky about it. I used to also worry about doing this kind of work because I was worried that, well, how am I, if you're, a person online talking about this stuff, maybe you should wait a year until you've, had a year under your belt before you start talking about it, being all cocky about it, being a bit of a know-it-all about it, being a bit of a dick about it, because karma, knock on wood, right? You start getting cocky with it, start, calling on people here and saying you're doing it wrong, you're fucking blah blah blah. Watch, you're gonna get symptoms coming back. It's gonna happen. Let's see if the camera. Oh, it zooms. Perfect. Right. So I didn't want to do that. I was kind of treading lightly when I was doing these videos. I was like, you never know. All of a sudden, I don't know. I could maybe get gastritis. What if I get COVID 18 times? Are people going to judge me? What if I, So, a couple of months later, I was like, no, man, it's impossible. It's impossible. Right? You build that confidence, it builds up, and then right? I'm sure there is still a percentage that something could happen. Maybe, right? A loved one of my parents, right? And maybe a situation that drags you out, unforeseen situation. This is where it's kind of like, I spoke too early, I'm gonna have some symptoms come up, but even then I'm sure I could move through it, right? And it's understandable. People would understand. Well, dude, you're dealing with, you lost your house, there was a hurricane, you fucking, right? One of your dogs is, it has to have his testicle taken off, and it costs a lot of money. I'm trying to make lighter stories because I don't want to, right? So that, that could still happen. And I might get some symptoms here and there, right? But 9 times out of 8, I'm pretty confident that all my nightmare worries are a thing of the past, right? And many people that are on disability will eventually have to make the call and come off. Many people that are on these die-hard drugs, right? That's why I say, work with your doctor. This is just my experience. This is just what I'm just talking about. I'm just here to educate people on my experience, which is probably really good fucking information, right? But I have to say, I am not a doctor. I am not a doctor. So if you need to see it, make sure you do what you got to do. Right. All right. Let's say hi to some people. What do you guys think about me doing some reaction videos? Do you think that would be cool? Hello again. I had some people message me. They don't like that idea because they think that I'm going to be hunting people and talking shit. That might happen. That is true. There's a part of me that wants to, right? But I'm not saying I'm going out to do reaction videos to poo-poo on everybody. I'm going to see a reaction. If I click on something and I see something that resonates, I'm going to fucking say it resonates. I'm going to be honest, right? And I'm going to come at it from my experience, right? I don't know all the answers. I don't know all the fancy words. It's just coming from an average Joe who was able to recover from 75 plus symptoms. I created my own way of viewing it so that you can understand it. I've simplified all the stuff, right? I've taken things that are the fluff. I've taken that out because it's irrelevant. You don't need to know. You don't need to go down the rabbit holes of the motherfucker gene or all the fancy schmancy. Well, you have the T cell and you divide it. Well, first is the blood-brain barrier. The blood-brain, right? I simplify it in an average Joe way so you can understand it. So, yeah, I'm thinking about doing some reaction videos. If people are, resonate, it could be some people that don't agree with it or go, I don't agree with what you said. That's going to happen, right? And I might change my mind in 2 months. I am human, right? I might go, you know what I said about that? You know what? Actually, I think that, meh. I'm allowed to change my mind and have a different view. It can happen, right? Hey, Robbie, good to see you. Mathis, camera. Have you noticed the camera's good? It is good. It's very nice. I'm going to see how big. Oh, that looks so good. Crisp. I just got a new camera. Finally. I've been wanting to get a camera for like 3 years. Finally could get one. Tim Hammond, love it. Good to see you. Yeah, my camera was on. The mic was on, but now I learned to make sure to put that on here. Agreed. The fear has came down a lot. Sometimes the numbness gets me though. Yeah, that'll do it. Numbness will get your attention. 1000%. This is just my opinion. 90s Mustang. If you had cancer, how would you use your approach to help? I'm not sure how to visualize it. Yeah, I would do the same thing, right? And you know what? I could be wrong. I could be totally wrong, right? But I truly believe cancer is just the body's last attempt to keep you alive, right? It creates the tumors so that it can store the unprocessed energy that's manifested to a physical form. And the cancer is just there as a last defense mechanism. And what do people usually do? They do the total opposite of what the system needs, right? They stress it out some more. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong. But I have talked to people that have fully recovered. They've used the mind-body approach and they fully recovered. Doesn't that make sense though? Right? After years of having your allostatic loads full, something's got to give. Body keeps the score. We know symptoms, right? Makes sense. Survival state is up, right? It makes sense to me. So that's just a theory. I'm probably right, but hey, if I'm not, I'm not right. Okay. Okay, here's one. I once heard you say your right side would hurt, my left side, and that would be a trigger for your gut issues. How does it work? I used to have stabbing pains on my right side that went all the way up here, all the way down to the side, all the way to the bottom, to the middle, to the top. And in my colon, it felt like somebody was going like this to my colon and stabbing it and putting holes in it. So when you have those pains, it would trigger you. And the thoughts would go, oh my God, you got to go to the hospital. Oh my God, this is serious. This is serious, right? So you'd fall for it. I was staying with my mom when I was so sick because I had my son. Right. Makes sense. We came home in June and we are thriving. Still symptoms, but I'm moving through it in every way. Totally changed my life. I can't wait for Nicole's success story. It's going to be epic. It's going to be epic. That kind of sounded like it's going to be me, right? Yeah. So if you're out there and if you're doing what I teach, right? And I got a bunch of success stories that are going to hatch within probably 6 months to a year. So some of my 2-year people, they're ready to hatch soon. So there's going to be a shitload popping up. I already had a handful, but there's going to be a shitload popping up. So I'm going to be having like a streak of success stories. And I'm sure there's a lot of people that don't even know that we're following the protocols and following the pillars. If you're one of them and you're close to recovery, please email me. And we'll set you up with an interview. And I'll ask you a shitload of questions about what symptoms you had. Right? That's my email. And then we'll do it up because people need to see this shit. Right? I had regular success stories from all kinds of other modalities. That's great. That's awesome. It's good to bring awareness. But I've decided to switch it over to only what I teach. That's it. Because there's a lot of people already doing success stories with whatever it is. They're already there. I want to teach what I teach. So if you're one of them, please message me and let's do it up. Yep, my program's still open. Sam and I are splitting, and we will be apart the last day, December 31st. This is when I will have a new website, and she'll have her thing on her channel, and I'll have my thing on my channel. And we have different approaches, but we share the same undercore message, right? So, yeah, if you need support, join the membership and work with me. And the group is massively supportive. They understand what you're going through, and it's like I got a team. It's amazing. Love it. Right. Reaction videos would be nuanced and cool. Maybe we should try it. Maybe today. Maybe now. Maybe in just to see. Just maybe 5 minutes. Only we'll just put our toe in the water. Just put our toe, because sometimes I don't have it all set up yet. Right? Like Osmond, what's his name? Osmond Gold does. He goes ahead, finds stuff, and then he talks about it. Right? I'm also gonna get Reddit. There's people that talk about symptoms on Reddit. We can just go down rabbit holes, right? Go down the rabbit hole with me. Let's see what does Helmut think? Yeah, I do. I totally do. I thought I had a fistula, but I didn't. Right? I saw a guy beside me in the room who had a fistula. All mind body. I can never work out when you are alive. Can you do British time? Well, I think British time is 5 hours ahead of me. So Monday, Wednesday, 11 a.m. Friday, Sunday, 5 p.m. Would that be... So 5 hours from those numbers? That's where it would be with you. Okay. Let's see. Let's just see. If I share a screen... Right. Let's see. Let's see what we'll talk about. IBS. Right. It's pretty. Everybody's got that pretty much close to everybody. Let's see what some of these protocols are. Right. What are people saying? How does this guy cure his IBS? Let's see.
I had IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, for 3 decades, possibly a little bit longer, and it all went away when I stopped eating most plant foods.
Okay. Most plant foods. Interesting. So. Let me do one of these. This guy, he had IBS for 3 decades, right? 3 decades. And what did he do? He cured it. If you read how I cured my IBS by cutting out plant foods. So I haven't heard the rest of the video. Maybe I should give him a chance and see how he cured this problem.
Right. And I'm like, this is interesting. And then the more and more I discovered, that all foods have, or all plant foods at least, have defense chemicals, right? Because nobody wants to be eaten, not an animal, not a human, not a plant.
Lectins.
And I'm like, this makes a lot of sense. And of course, everyone reacts differently to those individual defense chemicals, When I published a video and say, hey, this is how I fixed my IBS by just cutting out plants for a while, and then
for a while,
just selectively, putting stuff back in to see what triggers me, what doesn't. And now I know what I can and cannot eat, and I'm completely fine. And I'm like, this is crazy. Every dietitian, tells you the exact opposite. I'm like, well, here's the thing. Just try it out. Just eat only plants for a while and see how you feel. Then eat only meat for a while and see how you feel. And you realize probably if you eat only meat, you'll feel way better than eating only plants,
Yeah. So the thing with that is, we know, right? All you're doing is you're just cutting out what the stressor is for now. It can be anything. It could be plants. It could be meat. It could be X, Y, Z. It switches it all the time. People have different danger foods, and people have different safe foods constantly. So you can't go with the just cutting out plants. Also, people, we got sucked into the rabbit holes of the lectin scene, right? Nightshades, lectins, right? Plants. The thing is, what it is when you're at capacity, your allostatic loads are full, right? The nervous system sends sensitivities because we can't handle digesting all these different foods, right? All these, vegetables, different citruses, histamine, like you name it, all of them, because that puts a lot of energy in digestion. Meat, whatever, rice, whatever, carbohydrates. It takes a lot of energy to process all this stuff. So what does it do? It goes, dude, we're up to here. We need to give them some we're not letting anything in, we're letting everything out, plus throw them some sensitivities. Let them eat 2 foods. That's it. Rice and beef for Helmet sounds good. So that's all I could eat, is rice and beef and eventually apples. Right? But what that did is that it opened up the capacity, right? So that it could start doing other things. That's it. That's all it is. But eventually, here's the thing. Eventually, this will close up because you're piling on. Life throws curveballs. We're avoiding. We're not allowing. We're not processing the energy. We're not bringing that survival state down. You're still living that same lifestyle. Before you know it, the fasting, the carnivore diet isn't cutting it anymore, right? And all of a sudden, here we go, right? All of a sudden, avoiding these foods isn't doing it. Now you're still reacting when you're on the carnivore diet. Now you're still reacting when you're on the keto diet. Right now, you're reacting again while you're doing the fasting. Nothing's working anymore. What's going on? Right? So avoidance behaviors, like what he's saying, is good in the beginning. You need to do it because it's too overwhelming. There's a reason. There's a reason why the brain sent the sensitivity, because it's just too much. We're already buffering. We're already over the edge, overwhelmed. So it chose to do that. Okay, listen to it. Do the work, right? That's what I had to do. I had to take 1.5 years of doing the work, right? And then finally, when I built some capacity, brought my survival state down, then I could start training on the foods, and the flares wouldn't be as intense as they were in the beginning. Instead of like being out for 3 weeks, I was out for 3 days, right? So big difference. And when you bring in the capacity, your survival state is down, you can start introducing foods. And this is where having the flares, of course, don't forget, took me 1.5 years of eating safe foods to get to this point. So don't be doing this right away. That's a no-no. But I got to a point where I actually used the flares as an opportunity to update, to get into the system, right? Using the flares, and I dragged them out. I wouldn't retreat to my safe foods anymore. I kept going. And that's how I moved forward. And that's how I trained with all the foods. And I got them back in. I could have full food freedom while thriving. Right. And so in a way, he's right to do that in the beginning, but this is not the solution. He's going to have to avoid the vegetables for the rest of his life to get the relief. Right. So they haven't found it. They think it's the dangers that it's releasing because of the lectins. Right. They just reaffirm to the brain that these foods are dangerous. So the brain is going to act accordingly. If you go down any rabbit hole, there's always a rabbit hole for every food on this planet, right? One day kale is good, the next day it's not. Pick your poison. You decide your reality. Literally, right? Like I've said before, you could be a person that eats canned soup and smokes a cigar every day, lives to be 104, or you can do all the things, all the health things, and die at 60 of a heart attack. So, right, that's how you got to view it. So, okay, so there's our little taste of our reaction video. What did you guys think? Was it just was it okay? Was it fun? So, and here's the thing: surgeries, it depends, right? It depends. This is what I believe. Mind, body got us to a point where it started to affect us structurally, right? Mind, body keeps us there, and mind, body gets us out. Okay. But there are situations where mind, body shit put too much wear and tear on our body, and we need to have intervention, right? Like for me, I had diverticulitis, and it got to a point where there was a little section it needed to be taken out. So, right, this is where you got to make the call. You work with your doctor, they take it out, and now you use mind, body to heal, right? And then after that, going forward in life, you use that as an understanding tool, and you get to yourself to a place where you live this as a lifestyle, so you never have structural issues pop up again because you left it without being processed. When things aren't processed, when your allostatic loads, right, are still they're full, and your survival state, stays at survival, then something's got to give, right? Structural issues will manifest. But once you know that, once you've gone through this journey, Once you're back at zero, you can lean on it with trust and confidence that it won't affect the structural things ever again. And but eventually, we do turn 102. Eventually, you got to have an exit plan, right? Eventually, you'll be at a point where, like, I don't want to live to be 200. Fuck that, man. I want to, right? I think I'm done. Maybe I'm going to start to fill up my allostatic load. Maybe I'm going to stress about. I got to find something to stress about because I'm living forever. I'm thriving. I never get sick. What's going on? Right, Jake, you got that correctly. Now you're kind of seeing what I'm saying, right? The reason why we have these structural issues is because we weren't given a handbook to process, right, our allostatic load, our stress bucket. We weren't taught to process our emotions and the shadow work. We didn't know, right? Hi, how's it going? Yes, IBS big time with hemorrhoids, right? Vagus nerve injury can cause digestive, right? It's sure you can think that you're injured, but I highly doubt that that's what it is. You're in a state of fight or flight. That's it, right? You put a label to it, so you think your nerve is injured. So my digestion's fucked, right? There's a lot of links between the vagus nerve with the gut and the brain with the gut and the blah blah blah. And what else is there? Leaky gut, right? Oh, I need to detox my leaky gut, my biome. Like, there's always something that tells people that they're broken when it's actually it's all irrelevant, right? If you were to zoom in, sure, you're gonna find something, but what do you expect when you're in a state of fight or flight? So people start forcing these connections together and go, here's your label, your mitochondria. Dude, you have a mitochondria issue. You have a mitochondria injury, just like Julia says she has a vagus nerve injury, or you have a motherfucker gene injury, right? Keep throwing the injuries, brain injury, right? No, you're in a survival state, right? Where people talk about, well, IBS, SIBO, right? SIBO is the reason why you have IBS. SIBO is the reason why you have brain fog. SIBO is the reason, right? The gut. The SIBO is the reason why you have chronic pain. SIBO is the reason why you have fill in the blank. But it's like, no, it's not SIBO, right? You have brain fog because you're in a state of fight or flight. It has nothing to do with your gut. You have pain, chronic pain, because you're in a state of fight or flight, not because you have SIBO, right? All these things you have because you're in a state of fight or flight. That's it, right? It doesn't come from it doesn't come from thin air. You have this disease just because you have this disease. No, it's because you're in dis-ease for long periods of time when we should be in ease, right? And the symptoms, they go away as a consequence. You don't have to micromanage your body, right? All right, so let's do another quick video. Let's see what else we can find. See what else I can find in this. Okay, so we looked at that one. That was a good intro. Let's see what this guy says. He looks like he knows his shit. Dr. Axe.
Off talking about what foods you have to stay away from if you have IBS. Number one is going to be gluten. If you're consuming gluten, that inflammatory protein and grain products.
Inflammatory protein. See, he's just programming you to stay away from gluten because it's inflammatory. It's bullshit, right? A lot of people have sensitivities to gluten, not because it's dangerous. It's not the gluten. It's not the gluten, but it's your allostatic loads that's sending sensitivities because it's too much. It's the last drop that broke the camel's toe, right? And it's a tipping point. Here's the thing: the mold, the lime, the food. It's not that. It's not the lime. It's not the food. It's not the. It's not that. But you know what they are? They are the tipping point. I'll give you that, right? So it's that last drop, right? The last, right? That activated you, that got the blame, and you keep thinking it's that when it's actually all these other things throughout your life that accumulatively brought you here, right? That's it. Let's keep going. Let's see what he says.
That can cause IBS. And I recommend for my patients with IBS at the start for them to stay away from all grain products, especially wheat products, but all grains to start.
Okay, set from just at the start. Okay.
Now, later on, about 3 to 9 months into care, sometimes they can add in some sprouted grains or sourdough grains.
And then?
But from the start, that first 3 months, going completely grain-free is important.
And I agree with that, right? You use the coping mechanisms that you need so that you don't re-traumatize the system, right? You have the avoidance behaviors. Very important. He's dead on. Okay, Dr. Axe, what next?
Also, staying away from casein or conventional dairy products. You know, lactose, the sugar in dairy, and casein can be problematic. Now, doing kefir, on the other hand, can be greatly beneficial, or
Let's
a
skip
fermented
forward a
dairy
little bit.
IBS, or the IBS diet. On the IBS diet, you want to consume foods that really nourish the colon as well as nourish the spleen. The
Right.
first category are going to be
So what they're doing is they're trying to heal with their physical symptoms when it's not that, right? The thing is, if you don't update the program, it'll always translate to a physical symptom. So starting from the physical, it doesn't make sense. It's like going to, okay, we got for some reason we have an alarm system in this building. It's going off. Why don't we start smashing the alarms? Why don't we start cutting the wiring? Right, smash the alarms and you won't hear the alarm. Technically, isn't that true? Yeah, but why don't you go to the motherboard, figure out where is the fire? Is there a real fire? Okay, put out that fire. Go to the root, right? Section C. Oh, there was a fire, but it was turned off, but it's still going off. Okay, reset it. Done. No, what are people doing? They're going to all the floors. They're taking off the fucking smoke alarms, right? Smoke detectors, taking them off. They're cutting the wire. They're smashing it. And that's what he's doing. He's going through the symptoms.
white immune boosting foods. So again, white foods, think cauliflower, onions, and garlic. Cauliflower steamed is very easy to digest.
It's cauliflower.
Garlic and onions, when they're well cooked,
Okay, well, how do you do it?
along with the organic meat, and then also vegetables, things like squash in there,
Okay, how do you heal?
like Bacillus subtilis, and have other foods that actually support the growth of bacteria, like medicinal mushrooms and spirulina or chlorella.
So
Which
what he's saying is, and a lot of people have these protocols. You avoid, you do a kill protocol by taking certain supplements. I don't know. I don't think he is. I think he's doing it. He says naturally. Okay. A lot of people are doing kill protocols. And then when they do that, then they try to bring in bacteria to balance the biome. Everybody's obsessed with the biome. It's not the biome.
which have cyanobacteria, other good forms of probiotics. So again, number one, a probiotic supplement in terms of supplements. Also taking L-glutamine.
Yeah.
L-glutamine is an amino
Who's the
acid
guy?
that really protects and helps nourish the gut
Yeah,
lining.
yeah. Been
Also
down there.
frankincense or frankincense essential oil helps.
Fixing, right? And then you're gonna have to keep fixing for the rest of your life. You're just surviving through with all these things that you gotta use as a patch, right? A Band-Aid solution, right? Why don't you go to the root? And all these things heal themselves
to
without
reduce
you
inflammation
throwing
and
a
is
fucking
fantastic
supplement
for
at
the
it. Stop throwing supplements at shit. What else you got? And third, a detox. Here we go with the detox. Fuck.
and that healing or detox bath. You do 1 cup of Epsom salts.
Oh my God. See, you know how much energy that takes to do all that? And it puts you in a state of fight or flight. It reaffirms that you're damaged, that there's something wrong with you. Right? And it keeps the alarms on. And you're reaffirming that all these foods are dangerous when they're not.
Bowel syndrome, go ahead and check out my website, drax.ibs diet. I know that it can absolutely help you. And if you want to learn more about natural treatments for IBS or irritable,
Yeah, no. And this is where, you buy their program, you buy their supplements, and you have to keep buying the supplements. It's actually brilliant. A lot of these functional medicine naturopaths and these health gurus, they might give you some relief. And I'm not saying he's a bad person. I'm not saying that most of these people are bad. They really want to help you, and they really believe in this stuff, right? Which is unfortunate because what they really believe in isn't it at all. They're so way off. It's a totally different universe. They're not even close. They're not even close, but they still want to help. So in a way, they are helping people to manage. Amazing. Managing? Okay, I'll give you that. There's some mind-body people that are doing a lot of managing with hacks. This is where the vagus nerve stuff can become hacky, right? I understand using it in the beginning to support your recovery so that you're free from it, but not needing it constantly. So that's another trap that mind-body people get into, which I want to talk about right now. Stop sharing screen. Let's get back to normal here. Right? If you're using certain things just to feel some relief, I get it in the beginning, do it. Fucking do it. Right? But the thing is, what I see a lot of people do is like, when I feel like this, when I start to do a little bit of breath work, and I activate the vagus nerve. When I feel like this, I activate the vagus nerve and it goes away. It goes away. Then I do the breath, it goes away. So every time that alarm comes, they make it go away. So they get relief now, right? So they're looking for serenity now and sanity later. So you just keep managing that program keeps coming back because you keep going, no. So that's the insanity for 40 years. Another 40 years, you're going to be dealing with that. Why not go, hold on. Okay. Right? Do that 1,000 times. Eventually, that doesn't come back anymore. It's gone, right? Get to the root. Don't be a slave, right? Don't be a slave to stopping it with all these managing protocols, right? Exactly. Messing with my diet made me 1,000% worse. I hear you. Why do people get infusions with mind-body symptoms? My brother, he gets infusions because he's got ulcerative colitis because he doesn't believe in the mind-body thing. He doesn't really know much about it. He's not willing to test it and try it because it's a big risk, right? Because I'm not going to do this mumbo jumbo hippie think your way out of whatever my brother is doing. I don't know he doesn't even know what I'm doing. He probably thinks I'm a little crazy, right? So, and a lot of people are like that. Right. It's a big risk because if you come off of that medication, you have funding for it. It's expensive. You might not get funding again. Also, some medications, if you get off them, they might not work again because the body rejects it. Right. So it's a big, it's triggering and it's a big risk that people take. I don't think it's a risk. But for me, I'd rather people stay on the medications, do the mind-body work, and work with their doctor or their specialist to come off it slowly. Right? Very slowly, and then be free. And then you build confidence over time like I did. Took me 2 years before I'm like, dude, I am so free. I am so healed. I am so back, right? So, exactly. Thank you. What did you miss? Oh, I think we're just, what we talked, I don't know. You missed a lot. You missed a lot. So, first reaction. What do you guys think? Should I do this every time? Right? I wasn't too mean. I thought I was pretty reasonable. Right? Now I didn't bash anybody. Hey, and I can't say I won't in the future. That might happen. Unfortunately, that might, but today I think I was pretty chill. All right, guys, I'm gonna call it a day. When am I live next? Today is Monday. Wednesday. See you guys at 11 a.m. Let's do one of these again. Yes. You like this, Nicole? I think I like it too. Loving this live. It's fun. It's more engaging, more stuff to talk about, right? Love it. Okay, guys, let's do another one on Wednesday. We can do IBS again. Why don't we do a whole couple of weeks of just IBS, and then we'll move on to another one, right? Is nausea anxiety? Yes, it is. Lots of it. Had tons of it on a regular basis, off and on for 3 years. All right, guys, get out there and get uncomfortable. Please, please, please love, share, and subscribe, right? bring more awareness to the mind body space by subscribing and helping me by supporting the algorithm.